I've just spent 2 weeks in Thailand. Like, I try to do at least once a year to try and get away from the head fuck that is Australia. And the best thing about coming here is that I get to meet all these different people from around the world who work in construction as well. It's not uncommon to be at the bar somewhere and you're talking to an Englishman who runs a construction company, or you're talking to a guy from the US who owns a roofing business. They do almost 100% of their work without building contracts, and they do it for cash. They don't trust the government. They don't want to pay taxes. We don't do it that way in Australia, and you know we don't do it that way in Australia. We try our absolute best to do things the right way because you don't want to end up in a legal quagmire. But my God, like, to talk to these guys from overseas and to see how they run their businesses, we completely do it differently in Australia. Could you imagine if one client rang the ATO and said you were doing stuff for cash, and then suddenly you had an ATO audit up the wazoo going back for the last X amount of years? Not to mention all of the licensing bodies within your state down your throat, absolutely dicking you. The last thing I'd want in my life is to be on the receiving end of all that dicking, so I'm going to avoid that like the plague. However, I've got to say, these guys that I've met while I've been on my overseas tour this year, they seem to run pretty good businesses. They've got clients that pay their bills. They have a great level of trust with those customers, and things seem to be working quite well. We have a housing crisis in Australia, and we don't seem to be solving it, so maybe there are better ways to do things. Who knows?